Taped from New Jersey, it's the SNL Nerds. It's two comedians from New Jersey saying occasionally critical things about comics who are far more successful than we'll ever be. And God, that tagline is way too long.
We need to shorten that.
We need to shorten that. I'm John Trumbull. With me, as always, is my faithful co-host.
I'm Darin Patterson. Did you forget my name for a minute?
No. I thought I'd let you introduce yourself.
Oh, okay.
That's why I gestured to you.
I see.
This was like. I'm queuing up for you to talk now.
I thought you were this close to saying, "Hey, I'm John Trumbull, and here is this guy."
This guy. I don't know who he is. He broke into the studio.
Yeah. I shimmied up the side of the studio and crashed through the window.
Yeah. So, we're already off to a roaring start.
Rip-roaring start, right out the gate.
So you may be wondering, hey, there was no new episode of SNL this weekend. What the heck are you guys doing a new episode for?
Oh, we'll tell you.
Yeah. We're committed. We're committed. We decided we want to fill these skip weeks for the show and do theme shows about SNL in general. And we thought a good place to start would be to do our all-time favorite cast members.
Right. Now, these choices we have, there are personal favorites. I'm sure there'll be people listening that'll say, well, that's not, this guy was better, and so your list is wrong, and I'm right. Like, no, this is just our personal preference. So just lay off, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's, we were saying before we started recording that lists like these, they're really just a thing that gets conversations started. Yeah. So if we inspire some cool conversations, then we've done our job. Yeah,
it's like the same way people say, oh, who's the best guy in the NBA or who's the best footballer. You know, this is like that, but with nerdy Saturday Night Live people.
Yes, exactly. So what we decided to do was we both picked our top 5 cast members, our top 5 favorite cast members of all time, and we both have some honorable mentions as well. And we're gonna go back and forth. Just ping-ponging back and forth, and when one of us names a cast member, we'll discuss that cast member a bit, and I'm sure we're going to have some of the same people pop up on the same list.
There may be some crossover.
Yeah, we haven't discussed our choices.
That's right. This is a shock to both of us.
This is we're going to be surprising each other.
Oh my God, it's going to be scintillating.
It's gonna be amazing. It's going to be a barn burner.
We're going to burn this barn.
That's right.
Burn it.
We're going to burn it to the ground.
That's right.
So. Should we start?
Yeah, sure. Do you want to start or should I?
I can start.
All right, hit it.
Okay. I just put my cast members in chronological order because that seemed to be the...
I put mine in no particular order. I literally just scribbled it on the way over here.
So this should not be a ranking of quality. This is just kind of like when they came on the show.
Okay.
So the first person I put on my list was Mr. John Belushi.
Ooh, John Belushi. He is not on my list, but I respect the choice.
Original cast member, he always put so much energy into his bits on the show.
Very much so.
And just like the things he did the samurai. He
cheeseburger. Two chips.
He did Little Chocolate Donuts. That's one of my favorite of the early sketches.
Blues Brothers, of course.
Blues Brothers. I mean, that's amazing.
The fact that he was that big a dude and so physical. He
was almost graceful. I mean, he was like a high school athlete, I believe. I think he was like a wrestler or
it shows
like that. And so he did have a grace to him. He was, and he could dance.
Yeah, he could dance. He could do like cartwheels. He was like, everybody knows like Chevy Chase was like the physical guy because when he did his
pratfall guy.
But it seemed like Belushi was just as physical as Chase. Like, I like to feed to the Wolverines sketch.
Oh yeah, the very first sketch, on
one.
SNL.
That was pretty physical. He grabbed his heart and like clumped over. I mean, he was a ball of energy. People could not keep up with him.
Yeah, and I think a lot of some of that was cocaine. Some of that was him.
There was cocaine. Yes,
but
most of that was coke fueled.
Yeah, but I think he had just an amazing talent. I still think he's one of the most talented people to be in the SNL cast.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the dude was on fire. I mean, can't deny that.
Yeah, and it's kind of amazing to think that he and Aykroyd, they were only on that show for 4 years.
Wow. Yeah,
so because they left like a year before the other
They
left
cast the big after the big exodus. That
no, well, it was like before
the big.
Yeah, there was a year where it was the other original cast members like Jane Curtin and Bill Murray and That was the year they brought Harry Shearer on.
Oh, okay. No, Bill Murray was an original cast where he came on after Chase.
Well,
left.
but Bill Murray was still there.
Right.
Is what I'm saying.
Oh,
this was in year 5.
Gotcha.
So
okay. But yeah, Belushi's a great. Do you have like a favorite sketch of it, or like a favorite character of it? Or the samurai guy was.
Samurai is pretty high up there, like especially when he was playing with Buck Henry.
Yeah. Did you ever see that one? Like, I think I remember hearing about it years ago. Like, where, like, because I guess they used a real sword, and he accidentally cut Buck Henry on the head.
Yeah, and they put a bandage on Buck Henry's head because he was bleeding so much on his forehead.
Yeah.
And I think at Good Nights they put bandages on everybody else in the cast out of solidarity.
Yeah, I mean, for those that don't know, the basic premise, but what happened was they did a sketch called Samurai, like, lawyer or samurai attorney or something like that.
I don't remember which samurai it was, but
it was something like that. And like basically, Buck Henry was his client, and then I think at the end of the sketch, the samurai said, he kind of said, or maybe samurai stockbroker, something like that. But anyway, the samurai lost all of Buck Henry's money in the sketch. And it's like, I'm ruined. I have no money. It's like, I wish there was a window in this office to jump out of. I would jump out of it. And so, of course, with his samurai sword, he goes, die! And he like, he like kind of makes a window out of the wall. But when he was like kind of swinging that sword around, he accidentally cut Buck Henry. And you can see it on camera, like him like kind of looking off camera, but like, he just cut me. But but he kept going on to sketch, and then he kind of jumped out the fake window. And and again, like as the show went on, he had a bandage on his head, and everybody had a bandage on their head, like in solidarity. So like that I've never seen. I remember seeing that and thinking, wow, that's dedication.
Yeah, that's amazing, and that's what you watch Saturday Night Live for, is for when you see like truly unexpected things like that happen. Yeah,
like when people curse, or something something goes wrong on set, or maybe one of the props doesn't work,
and you have to see them cover for it. I mean, that's when you really see what they're made of.
That's real, live stuff.
Yeah. So who is your first?
Okay. Well, let's go with one of my choices in the same era, in the same vein. I will go with one Gilda Radner.
There you go.
She's just like she had a really like nice, lovable spirit about her, and she was the same way. She kind of did all these sketches, all these characters, Baba Wawa, and Rosanna Dana. I forgot the name of the little girl she did.
I know who you mean.
Like the Girl Scout.
Yeah, I'm forgetting the character's name.
The nerdy girl, Lisa Lupner. I mean, she was...
Emily Latella.
Emily Latella. Oh, yeah, of course. Hearing. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, she was great.
I don't know. She's just one of the people in the sketches where you just kind of wanted to see what she was going to do next. You know? She was like she was... Like, once she was in a sketch, the focus was kind of on her to, like... in the same way, like now, like Kate McKinnon, everybody kind of focuses on Kate to see what she's going to do with the sketch or how she's going to elevate it.
Yeah.
And she was awesome. I remember also seeing, she did that concert movie Gilda Live, I think, that came out a year ago. That was a great movie.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
It was really good.
I need to track that down.
Yeah. I highly recommend it. It's like her doing a bunch of characters, and like this rock and roll character she does once in a while with like Paul Scheer. With her in her band in the back.
Paul Schaefer?
Paul Schaefer. Did I say Paul Scheer?
You said Paul Scheer.
Jeez. All right.
which would have been awesome, because I'm sure Paul Scheer was just like a little guy at that time.
They looked at this little kid named Paul Scheer, and they're like, you know what? This guy's going places. Put him behind the keyboard.
He is only 4 years old, but damn it, he's got something.
He's got the goods. Put this 4-year-old behind the keyboard. But that character, that rock and roll character she had, was kind of like a Joan Jett type of vibe, or a Pat Benatar type of thing. But that was, I mean, I don't know. She was just like a lovable, awesome spirit. I haven't seen the recent documentary that came out about her.
No, I haven't seen that either.
I've heard good things about it.
Yeah, I've only seen the trailer of that. I don't even remember what service that was on. That wasn't on Netflix, was it?
No, it was in the theaters for a bit, and then I don't know if it's still in the theater, but I think it was in the theaters, but then it was also like streaming somewhere. In the ethos, you can find it. Yeah, movies are just streaming all around us in the air now.
They are
in the cloud, as it were. Oh, just check the cloud.
Yeah. And she was actually the first person cast for SNL.
I did not know that.
The very first person cast, and
smart move.
Yeah, and she I was looking through that the Live from New York book that's like the oral history of SNL.
Right.
And apparently Lorne at first didn't want to cast John Belushi, so Gilda sat Shiva for him to change Lorne's mind.
Really?
That Belushi should be in the cast.
Why didn't he want to cast Belushi?
I don't know. I mean, maybe he just thought it wasn't right for what he had in mind, or who knows?
Interesting.
And another interesting thing is apparently Belushi was like a very sexist guy. And he was.
Women aren't funny.
Yeah, he was of that philosophy that women just were not funny, or are not funny. Yeah. And but he made an exception for Gilda Radner because she was just so good.
But doesn't that disprove your whole theory that women aren't funny? If you
would
have
think
that one.
You would think, but
people aren't perfect.
Maybe he was like, "Oh, she's the exception that proves the rule," or so. I don't know.
So then there is no rule if you find this one woman funny. Belushi.
I don't know.
Yeah. I'm screaming for all women out there. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm an ally.
Yeah, the future's female, guys.
That's right. Damn straight. All right. So who do you get? Who else? Who's your second in command there?
My second choice was another. I would say he's like an original cast member by default. Bill Murray,
of course,
comes in the second year, replaces Mr. Chevy Chase, who was the first breakout star of the show.
Yeah,
and I mean, blew the roof off the joint.
He really was. I mean, the loud singer, and in the fact he was kind of paired with Gilda with the nerd, nerd, and Todd. Like Todd.
Yeah.
Oof. I mean, Mr. Murray is still just wowing him.
And again, just the energy he has, and just he's one of the quickest, funniest people who's been on that show.
Yeah, I mean, he's just like one of those people who's just like naturally funny. He's just like when he's just he could just like say some random thought that comes out of his head, but it just kind of comes out funny. Or
yeah, there was a thing where Bill Murray was playing like an audience member who was pulled up on stage, and he was talking to Steve Martin.
Right,
and Steve Martin on the live show, he asked him, "Have you ever been on TV before?" And Bill Murray, with not expecting that question, he just goes, "Oh, once in a long shot at a baseball game," which is so quick and so specific, and you really get that Second City improv training.
Yeah,
coming out, because he was one of the Del Close people.
Oh, that's right.
Del Close was like this big improv icon who basically like helped create the rules of improv with a few other people, and he trained like folks like Bill Murray, up to Mike Myers and Tina Fey.
Right. Yeah. Del Close. He was. I mean, if you know anything about improv, the world of improv, especially like Chicago improv, like Del Close is like a god.
He is the guy, and they still have the Del Close improv marathon in his honor. I think that's on his birthday.
I believe you are correct.
Year.
Yeah. Like they have it in New York too, right? And at the UCB, I believe. Or,
Yeah, at UCB and I think a few other places.
Yeah.
So it's like constantly running shows for like an entire weekend, I believe.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, after SNL too, Bill Murray had like a amazing career.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to judge these people just by what they did on the show.
Right.
I mean, with Bill Murray, it is tough to separate how huge he was after the show as well.
I know.
He's one of those people who helped shape the face of modern comedy.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I absolutely would.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with you.
So, and I mean, just for Star Wars, give me the Star Wars.
Oh, wow, this turned to karaoke night all of a sudden.
So, but, I mean, Bill Murray, I mean, if I have to argue more in Bill Murray's favor, what are you even doing listening to this?
It's Bill Murray. That's all.
Bill Murray, people.
You don't even need to explain. I don't even know why you had to explain all this stuff. You just had to say Bill Murray and move on.
We should have just moved on to the next choice. Who is your second choice?
My second choice. I guess we're going to hop ahead a few points.
Okay.
We're going to hop ahead a little bit. I'll say I'll put on my list one Mr. Eddie Murphy.
Okay.
He's one of my personal favorites, one of my heroes. Like he's honestly I probably said this on a podcast a couple times, but he's honestly probably the reason I got into stand-up comedy as a whole. Because I remember watching his old the reruns when they showed SNL reruns on VH1 or whatever it was, and like I thought he was so funny on that show. Like I'd watch his stand-up and then I'd listen to his stand-up, and that made me want to listen to more stand-up. So like he was like, I don't know, in my world, like Eddie Murphy is like the alpha omega of comedy to me. Like when I was like in junior high, in high school, like I literally thought he was the funniest person ever in the history of anything. And like I still do to this day. I mean, his sketches were, I mean, he helped bring up the SNL out of the 80s, because we talked about it off mic a while ago. SNL was in that little funk, we would say. And
after the original cast left. And
after the original cast
Eddie
left.
Murphy comes in.
Yeah, and then 80 to 81, it was, Saturday Night Dead, as they always say. But then he came on and he pumped it up. I mean, the buckwheat sketch. What else? Gumby, of course. James Brown Hot Tub.
I was just about to bring that up.
It's such a silly, dumb sketch, but it's just the guy dressed as James Brown dancing around the hot tub saying, hot tub.
Right.
Gonna get in the water.
Yeah.
But God damn it, he does it and it's funny.
He commits to it and he takes it as far as it can go. And
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like if anybody else did it, we'd probably be like, all right, enough of this. What is this?
Right.
But like he just is able to make it better. And what else? Oh God, I'm forgetting a bunch of stuff he did, of course. Oh, Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood, one of the funniest.
Yeah.
I mean
You're at a loss for words.
I love Eddie Murphy. All right, I said it. Like that one. Like I remember watching that sketch when I was a kid, and like the part where he has to answer the door, and it's like, oh, this is how you answer the door in my neighborhood. Who is it? God damn it!
Yeah.
I think we blew out the mics with that one.
Yeah, probably.
Oh boy. All right, well,
Eddie. I also put him on my list because I was thinking about it. It was, and what it came down to for me was just Eddie is just too historically significant to the show to not put him in that top tier. Because he's the guy, he more or less saved the show in the early 80s.
Very much
the
so.
show very well could have come to an end if he hadn't broken out when he did.
Right.
And it's amazing to think he was like a really young guy. He was like 19 or 20.
He was super young. Like
he was like living at home, and he gets on SNL, and then
he was like Pete Davidson young.
Yeah, and then after a year or two, he is like the biggest comedy thing going in comedy.
Yeah, I mean, after this, it was Trading Places,
48 Hours,
Beverly Hills Cop.
I mean, and that's an amazing run.
Yeah, like
in the movies,
like his first. Well, no, I mean there was Best Defense in there somewhere, but but those three movies, like his first movies, and they were like the biggest movies, like even to this day.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
it was bonkers.
I remember in the Live from New York book, Chris Rock was saying, "Yeah, Eddie is the biggest star to come out of that show." Absolutely. You know, he's like if you say somebody else, you're making a racist argument.
Oh wow!
Because Eddie's the biggest. Just there's no question.
I'm really trying to think. I mean, maybe you could say Mike Myers, but not real. I mean, no, he's not around.
Yeah, I mean,
or maybe Will Ferrell.
Yeah, maybe.
But
I mean, it's just like his run on the show and that that run of 48 Hours, Beverly Hills Cop, and Trading Places. I may be getting those out of order. That's a pretty amazing run.
That's very impressive, yeah.
And I think at least a couple of those shows, I know at least 48 Hours, he was still on the show when he did that.
Yeah, I think it was. But yeah, I mean, my God, I love Eddie Murphy. I'm sorry.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, he's one of the big ones. Okay, so let's see. We're on to our number 3 choices now, right?
I think I did. What did I do? My third? Oh wait, no, that was my second. All right.
That was your second. Eddie was number 4 on my list.
Hey.
I had him out of the chronological order, but I put him in there. The next person on my list was Mr. Phil Hartman.
On my list.
He was nicknamed the Glue when he was on the show because he was the guy who was holding it all together.
I mean, he could literally, not literally, but he could pretty much do anything in any sketch.
Mm-hmm. He could be the straight man in a sketch. He could be the funny one or the outrageous one in the sketch.
Yeah. He could do accents. He could be like the super serious dude. He can get super like sometimes he would be like be a kind of super serious guy, but then he would do he'd be Frankenstein and be fire bad.
And there's that one Frankenstein sketch where he breaks in the middle.
Yeah,
and it's
remember that.
It's it's one of those rare sketches where it's all the funnier because they broke.
Right, but I think it's funny, also funny because he rarely broke.
Yes,
he was one of those guys that's known just not for breaking. So when he did break, it's like
it meant something. He wasn't like Jimmy Falloning it up.
Yeah,
Falloning.
Oh, Jimmy Fallon.
It's tough to make his name into a verb.
Jimmy Falloning. There you go.
Falloning.
The Falloning.
The Falloning.
Yeah.
I remember that miniseries. That was a good miniseries.
It was good.
The Falloning.
It's good. The Falloning.
When everybody came down with that mysterious laughing disease.
Yeah, everybody was just
They just giggled constantly. Yeah.
looking into the camera.
Yeah. Yeah.
Looking directly into the
It was
lens.
kind of like The Happening, only with
more Fallon.
more Jimmy Fallon.
Now with 100% more Fallon.
Yes. So,
All right, back to Hartman. Let's get off Fallon and get on Hartman.
Okay.
That sounded naughty.
It sounds a little kinky, but
But yeah, I mean, the Unfrozen Caveman Lawyer sketch. That sketch is like one of those sketches where you hear the premise and you're like, what? It sounds dumb. And again, like it's one of those sketches where I think if anybody else did it, it wouldn't have been as good. But because he did it, it made it better. Like it's like a very simple, weird, bizarre sketch, but he pulls it off. And that's incredible.
And it's exactly what it says on the tin. It's a caveman who is unfrozen, who is like frozen, and he comes out in the modern world, and he becomes this sleazebag lawyer.
Yeah.
and they just show him. Yeah, he's just
like
doing
a Lionel Hutz almost.
Yes, exactly.
Before
Lionel Hutz, and he was. He's giving his closing argument. He's just, I'm just a caveman. Things about your modern world frighten and confuse me. And I turn on my TV. Do little spirits inhabit it and make those sounds?
But there's one thing I do know.
Yes.
Do you remember the anal retentive chef?
Oh, of course.
Anal retentive fisherman or whatever.
Yeah.
Thing? That was, it was just, and one of my favorite sketches is when he did Sinatra in the Sinatra group.
I rewatched a bit of that.
There's no way he can get away with half that stuff he said now, but it's goddamn it.
Rita Hayworth or Ava Gardner, who would you rather nail? I disqualify myself because I've done them both.
Sinbad O'Connor.
And that's just a great sketch because it's just solid all the way through. It's got Phil Hartman as Sinatra. His Sinatra is amazing. Yeah. You have Jan Hooks as Sinead O'Connor.
Sinbad O'Connor.
You have Sting as Billy Idol.
Wow.
And Sting is killing it as Billy Idol.
He really did.
He's doing the sneers. You had Chris Rock as
Luther Campbell.
Luther Campbell from Two Live Crew.
Uncle Luke. And Steve Lawrence and Edie Gourmet, Victoria Jackson, and Mike Myers.
Yeah. I mean, and they're just like sycophanting it up.
You said it, Frank.
Yeah. You're just lucky to travel in my wake. It's just...
I got chunks of guys like you in my stool.
It's just a solid sketch all the way through. That's one of his best.
We're going to talk about that on the next episode.
Yeah.
I got chunks of guys like you in my stool.
But it's a great sketch. And, I would be hard-pressed. If you like sat me down and said, name a sketch that Phil Hartman was bad in, I don't think I would be able to do that.
I really can't think of one.
He was always there. He was always solid. He was always giving his scene partners great stuff to work with.
He was on all the time. Oh, my God.
I just remember now, like, he would occasionally do, like, Peter Graves from Mission Impossible. He'd be like, hello, I'm Peter Graves. And
oh, yeah. I can remember that.
Yeah,
or when he did his Charlton Heston. And
his Phil Donahue.
Yeah. Or we did the Charlton Heston where he read Madonna's sex book. Like, I like my vagina.
Oh, God, I'd forgotten that.
Remember that?
Yes. I think, like, some radio show I used to listen to, probably Opie and Anthony, they use the I like my vagina. They use that as a sound clip.
As we all should.
Right.
I'm making that my ringtone tonight. I like my vagina.
I like my vagina. Oh. So that was my number 3. So.
Oh, that felt good. That was good.
Yeah.
Oh, Lordy Lou. All right. So, my turn?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we're
okay.
number 3.
I'll put. I had some. Okay, you know what? I'll put this one. This might be a controversial one.
Controversy.
But I think I'll stand by this. I think I've said this on the podcast. I think she was criminally underrated. I'll say Jan Hooks.
Okay.
I will say if you look, you've noticed that she was in a lot of sketches with Hartman, and she was one of the few people that could keep up with Hartman.
She would hold her own.
Yeah, she would hold her own she did like a lot of great impressions. Like when they did Jim and Tammy Faye Baker, like she was up there with him.
Ghostly spirits, I rebuke you.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. And even when she was the Sweeney Sisters with Nora Dunn, she was awesome. And I don't know, like every time she was in a sketch, like she definitely made it better. That old commercial, what was the Obsession commercial?
Oh yeah,
Compulsion.
Yeah.
That I think she was.
Oh
great
yeah, she's compulsively cleaning.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was shot like a
Calvin Klein cologne.
Yeah,
but it was
black and white. And
yeah, exactly. But it was like for disinfectant. And they
yes.
called it.
Yes.
Look it up, guys. It's a great.
Yes.
But I don't know. I always really liked her. I thought she was like a really strong cast member. I thought she was always great. Mm-hmm. And I still do.
Yeah. Yeah. She was always solid. She wasn't somebody who had, I think, a whole lot of recurring characters or breakout characters, but she was always there in this. I mean, outside of like something like the Sweeney Sisters.
That's true. I'm trying to think. I'm sure. I know she did. Was it Betty Davis? Because wasn't there a sketch like when was it Betty Davis?
I think so.
Like she passed away, and then they showed her last will to her kids.
Oh yeah, it was like a video will. I vaguely remember.
Or maybe
that.
it was Joan Crawford, something like that.
No, I think you got it right the first time. I think it was Betty Davis.
Yeah, something like that. Where then like they showed a video of her talking to her kids, and it's like, "Oh, you get nothing because you wrote a terrible tell-all book, and I want you to have a bad life."
Yeah, maybe I should amend that. Like she didn't have as many recurring characters as you might expect of a cast member of her caliber.
No, she didn't. But I really feel like the stuff she was in was pretty strong. She was I think she's underrated.
I think so.
With anybody.
I think maybe she's a little forgotten today because she maybe didn't go on to as many big things after the show.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Like what did she do after? Like Designing Women.
Yeah, she was on Designing Women for like the last year or two.
She was in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I've
forgotten that.
There's no basement at the Alamo.
Okay. And I remember her doing like a few guest spots on sitcoms. Like, I mean, I think she was on Third Rock from the Sun. She was on some other things. But I think she like kind of stepped back from the industry by choice.
Oh, okay.
Like I was reading an article about her. I think it was after she passed away, and she led a pretty private life. And didn't want to be part of the whole rat race of Hollywood, I guess.
She wanted to be part of the machine. I can dig it. I can understand. This Hollywood, this showbiz isn't for everybody, baby.
No.
Business we call show.
But she was always great.
Yeah. All right, so Jan Hooks, that's one of mine. What do you got? I think we went through this list pretty quickly.
Well, let's see. I mean, the next person on my list, we already hit on the number 4 on my list, so I'll skip over to number 5. Who's somebody who's in the current cast?
Ooh,
yeah, I'm going there.
I think. Are you going to say who I think you're going to say?
I'm going to say Miss Kate McKinnon. Who did you think
I thought it was. I thought you were going to say Strong.
I love Cicely Strong.
That's what I thought it was going to be.
I do love the Cicely Strong.
You have strong love.
Wonderful. I have strong feelings for Cicely. But I got to give it to Kate McKinnon. Kate McKinnon is she is like the person on the show right now.
I don't disagree with that.
And I would put her in the same league as like a Gilda Radner or a Jan Hooks.
I definitely see her as like the new kind of like a standout star, like you said. Like whenever she's in it, I always think, all right, this guy's going to be okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's like what we were saying about the other people is she always elevates the material that she's in.
Right.
And if the sketch maybe isn't as funny as it could or should be,
right,
she will make that funny just by going out there. And she's
like
great.
You can always tell like when they know a cast member is strong when like the whole sketch is just basically based around her.
Yeah.
When they do when she plays that aging actress on the panel and like all the actresses just have kind of normal thing to say and then she says some wackadoo stuff. Or what's the other sketch? Like when they
have the alien
an alien abduction and like she says like some and
she's
insane,
like, what? That wasn't my experience. And the aliens did much more heinous stuff to her.
Then she's just off to the races. Or when it's usually at the end of the show when she's like that barfly that's at the end of the of closing and like she end up like licking Louis C.K.'s face or something like that, or
as you are wont to do in a bar at 2 in the morning.
As you are, and Kenan Thompson's like doing stuff
reacting
to
in
avert his eyes.
horror
like it's one of those things where you can tell they just said, all right, here's the setting, Kate McKinnon do
your
something
thing.
with it.
And I mean, she's got some amazing impressions too. She's Hillary Clinton. She did Kellyanne Conway.
Bieber.
The Justin Bieber was amazing.
Yeah, I didn't think anybody could do a Justin Bieber, and she just went ahead and did like this awesome Bieber.
I remember an interview with her where she said the secret to her doing Justin Bieber was acting like he was a dog or puppy who just piddled on the carpet. So it's
pretty solid. It's not wrong.
That's a take.
So all you actors out there, it's a little acting tip for you.
Yeah, and she just I am in awe of her. She's just
Ellen DeGeneres, she does as well.
Yeah, she does a great Ellen.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She does.
We were praising her Ruth Bader Ginsburg a couple weeks ago on the show, I think, and when she did it on a recent episode, and it just
like that's a Ginsburg, and then she just breaks. Starts dancing,
which has like probably nothing to do with a real Ruth Bader Ginsburg, but it's so funny you don't care.
Yeah, it's just like I like it. I like what you're doing here.
I mean, she's just adorable, and I don't see how you can't have a crush on Kate McKinnon.
She's
male or female.
Yeah, what gender is fluid.
Exactly.
Whatever you like.
Exactly.
But yeah, I agree. Like, I mean, I think they know she's the breakout star. We all know she's the breakout star. She's just going to keep on breaking out.
One of my favorite Kate McKinnon sketches, and I would kick myself if I didn't mention this, was one she did a couple years ago with, oh God, I'm blanking on the host's name. The
Describe him.
J. Jonah Jameson.
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons, where they were doing.
KK. I almost said KKK.
She was doing the sketch with the KKK.
Got it.
And she's even adorable in that.
They have good, yeah.
But no, it was her and J.K. Simmons. They were doing the end of Casablanca, and J.K. Simmons is playing Rick, and she's playing Elsa. And the whole thing is like he mentions that this plane will take her away to safety, and she's like, "Oh, yes. Is that the plane? I'll go get it on it now. Yes." And the whole gag is that Elsa is just ready to ditch Rick in a split second so she can get away from the Nazis. And she's just so goofy in that. That's one of my favorite things she's ever done. That was wonderful.
I got it. I don't remember that because I got to go back and watch it.
Well, yeah, you should.
I will. I'll look at right. I'm going to watch it right now.
So yeah, Kate McKinnon. She is the number 5 on my list.
All right. And see who I got just to round up my list. A guy from the era when the SNL was coming back again, because in the like we talked about off mic, like in the mid '90s, kind of dipped, but then it went back up. And
I think I know who this is going to be.
Who do you think it's going to be?
Would it be Mr. Will Ferrell?
It is a Mr. Will Ferrell. Yeah. I mean. Again, like he was the dude. I mean, he didn't have. I mean, as far as impressions go, I don't think he had too many. Like he had, George W. Bush.
His George W. Bush is amazing. He did Harry Carey.
Oh right, Harry Carey. Shit, yes.
His Harry Carey.
I didn't even know who that was, but I just thought it was goofy. But then afterwards, I was like, "Who's this guy, Harry Carey?" I guess he's more like a Chicago staple.
I think the beauty of that is it works whether you know who Harry Carey is or not.
Yeah,
like it could work as a parody of Harry Carey, and I don't think I really knew him before that.
I don't think a lot of people did, because like I remember when. I think it was the first sketch he did. I think it was with Jeff Goldblum, I believe. And
yes.
He was like, "Hey, everybody." And like, I remember the audience I didn't hear too much like acknowledgement from the audience. I was like, "Oh yeah, right. Harry Carey." I think he was just like one of those characters like only a few people know. But like you said, like the character is just so over the top and bizarre and goofy that you just like kind of go with it.
Yeah.
It's like, would you eat the moon if it was made out of ribs?
I think maybe.
And Jeff Goldblum's like, what'd you say?
Yeah.
You heard me. Would you eat the moon if it was made out of ribs?
And it's so rare that Jeff Goldblum isn't the oddest person in a sketch.
That's a rarity.
I mean, you don't really see Jeff Goldblum being the straight man too much.
Not too much, but back to Will Ferrell. Sorry, but like he's just one of those dudes. Like you put him in a sketch, like everything he kind of says and does is just funny. Like the get off the shed. Like just the get off the. I will beat you to death with a rake if you don't get off that shit.
Because
like,
he just throws himself into it. He just
very much so. He's just like what else? The Bill Brasky sketch or. God, what else? He's done so much stuff. I can't think of everything. But when he was on the Weekend Update, and he was like the guy that couldn't modulate his voice and just talk loud.
But I can. Yeah.
And of course, Oh, the lovers in the hot tub. It was just so bizarre.
Him and Rachel Dratch.
Yeah, him and Rachel Dratch, or him and a guest star as the two people, the two parents singing.
Oh yeah.
I forget
the cheerleaders.
Cheerleaders sketch. The first time I saw his cheerleader sketch, I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
The two dudes at him and Chris Kattan, the two dudes at the nightclub.
The
Batabi brothers.
Robert Goulet.
Oh, Goulet!
Goulet.
Yeah, because like he's not. His impressions like that, they're not like dead on impressions, but like he kind of captures like I guess the essence of the character, where it's like, yeah, this is close enough that you could see Robert Goulet saying his name over and over.
He takes something and he just exaggerates it and he takes it into this new wonderfully bizarre place.
Yeah, exactly. Or sometimes he kind of plays it straight, like when he did like Alex Trebek in the Jeopardy sketch.
Yeah.
Like that's a sketch where he's kind of not one note,
he's
but
very restrained.
He's very restrained, and he lets Daryl Hammond, Sean Connery kind of take center stage.
Right, and I think that really worked for that sketch because the celebrities in those sketches were always so stupid or insane or both.
Right, very much so.
And it wouldn't have worked if he was a bizarre character as well.
Absolutely.
He was very restrained. He was trying to maintain his dignity.
Right.
And yeah.
Yeah, so he was more restrained, but then he could let loose and be bizarre, like when he did like that Neil Diamond impression where it was really good too. I'm trying to think of other stuff he's done, but I mean that's a good chunk enough.
I think we've made the case for Mr. Will Ferrell.
I mean he's just one of those dudes, like no matter what he says or does, it just kind of comes out funny, and just his kind of slight body movements just make things or just funnier or something. I mean, Will Ferrell, my God, what a treasure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I got. That's the end of your list too. Or?
That was through my big five. So we've assembled like a super team.
Yes.
Of SNL greats.
We have a Justice League. We have a table.
They're like a super group. They're like the traveling Wilburys.
Yes.
of SNL.
Absolutely. So do you have any honorable mentions? I have a couple.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I'll admit, like some of these. Now that I look at these, maybe I might want to change some of these to my five, but this is what I had in the moment. One of my favorites growing up, I'm going to say Mr. Dana Carvey.
Yeah.
I thought he was like one of those dudes that just could do. He did like real pretty spot on impressions with his stuff, like George Senior, George Bush Senior.
Yeah.
What else did he do? Church Chat, the church lady.
Church lady is one of my favorite SNL characters still.
It's just such a simple kind of character. It's like, oh wow.
And it was and it was just based on a little truth of you always had that very self-righteous, literally holier than thou person who would be like, oh well, you didn't show up at church last week. I guess some of us only worship when it's convenient. And
so silly. Well, I love it. Yeah.
And he had
he did a great Paul McCartney impression.
Oh yeah, the definitive Paul McCartney.
It's bloody madness.
Yeah. Well, you do this thing, and go around and do the flippity flube, and then where are you?
Oh my! And then what have you got?
And then what have you got? He always his McCartney would always just go into nonsensical words.
Yeah, but it's like that sounds like pure McCartney to me.
Yeah.
I
love Dana Carvey.
Ross Perot was great.
Ross Perot was great.
Yeah, I mean, he was just like one. Maybe he should be on my five. Now that I think about it.
He's somebody who I'd say just missed being on my five.
Yeah, I would say so. Like I don't know. He's just one of those. Like I remember, he was just one of those guys who just every time his Dennis Miller impression was hilarious.
Oh, yeah, bang. Yeah.
He did an impression of somebody on the show on SNL.
Next to the person.
I
mean, that's ballsy.
Who does that?
That's incredible.
No one's doing a Colin Jost impression.
No. I don't even know what that would look like.
Very vanilla.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I just did that to make you happy, just because I know your Jost feelings.
Yeah.
All right. So who's on your?
Let's see. Okay. Well, the other people on my honorable mention, we've brought them up to some degree or another. Will Ferrell and Gilda Radner, but somebody we haven't mentioned yet, Amy Poehler.
Oh,
Amy Poehler is another person who she was amazing. She was very versatile.
Yeah. I think her and Faye were probably my favorite Weekend Update anchors,
that pairing
of all time. I think.
I think that
I also like the Dennis Miller too, but
yeah. Well, I love Dennis Miller back in the day, back in the 80s. He took a turn later on.
He did take a turn,
which is it's really kind of amazing when you think about it. But I think my favorite ever run on Weekend Update was that run where you had Tina Fey and Jimmy Fallon. Then it went to Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, and then Amy Poehler and Seth Meyers.
Right.
Like all those they all had great chemistry, and I loved that it was like a smooth transition from one team to the other.
Yeah.
And yeah, the writing was always just really, really solid.
Very much so.
And she was great on Weekend Update, but she also killed in sketches.
She was really good in sketches too.
One character of hers that really pops out at me was when she did Dakota Fanning.
Oh yeah.
When Dakota Fanning was like this precocious child actress, and she'd have a Dakota Fanning talk show where Dakota Fanning was like 10 times, at like age 8 or 9 or something, Dakota Fanning was 10 times more articulate than anyone.
Yeah, I love that sketch. Wow.
Who came on the show.
I totally forgot about that, but I remember loving that sketch a lot.
There was, I think one of the earliest Amy Poehler sketches that I loved was where she's like on a blind date with somebody, and she asks the date, she's like, so what's a good time to tell someone that you've done some porn? And the guy's like, what? You've done some porn? She's like, what? No, I haven't. And it was just great. I've tried to find the sketch online. I don't think it's online, but it was so funny.
I don't remember that. I remember she did a sketch that was really funny with where she was like Britney Spears. And it was, I think she was talking to her lawyer about getting divorced from Kevin Federline, and she had this weird like Britney like country accent. So, and I'm not doing it justice, but she had a really good kind of impression or pseudo impression of Britney Spears that I really liked a lot.
She did Avril Lavigne. I remember she was always Avril Lavigne. I'm punked, and I mean she was really good at those types of characters.
Yeah,
I mean, I remember her like she would do bit parts on Conan O'Brien's show. She played like Andy's little sister who had the crush on Conan.
Yeah, I remember that.
Very, very embarrassed by it, and she also did a great Hillary Clinton.
She did Hillary. I mean, we'll probably talk about in the next episode about the Clinton Palin Tina Fey sketch. I mean, that was iconic.
That's one of the all-time great sketches.
One of the greats.
Oh gosh, I mean, the what was the thing she did with Maya Rudolph? It was a Brooklyn Beat.
Oh, Brooklyn Beat! I love Brooklyn Beat. Fuck, maybe. Well, I gotta rethink my list.
Well, I mean, it's really tough to narrow it down to just 5.
Yeah, but the Brooklyn Beat. Oh no, Bronx Beat. What am I saying?
Bronx Beat. You're right.
But yeah, that was really good. They played like two kind of middle-aged moms.
Sweater weather.
Sweater weather. Like I remember, like a bunch of my friends. Like I know numerous moms who are exactly like that.
Yeah, and they played off each other so well.
They were good.
Yeah,
Amy Poehler, she's oof. Well, we may have to redo these lists. This is embarrassing. All right, so another one who's on my honorable mentions, we didn't mention before, Mr. Chris Farley.
Chris Farley?
I thought he was like kind of like Belushi 2.0, where he was just like a big old ball of energy, and like everything he just kind of just threw himself in. Really, he was just over the top, but like just really funny too. I mean, we'll talk about this on the favorite sketches episode, but the Matt Foley episode. I mean, like what a way to introduce yourself to the world. I mean, my lord,
was that real early in his tenure?
I feel like it was the first thing. Like that was the first time I remember
his first breakout thing.
Yeah, that was definitely the first breakout thing. I remember that was the first thing he was in where everybody afterwards was like, "Who's that guy?" Like once he did that sketch, he was on everybody's radar.
And you know who wrote that sketch?
Who wrote that sketch?
Bob Odenkirk.
Oh, Bobby O.
Better Call Saul. Saul Goodman.
Saul Goodman. Wow, I did not know that.
Jimmy McGill wrote. He was writing for SNL the same time as like Conan O'Brien.
Conan O'Brien,
Robert Smigel,
yeah, absolutely.
All those guys,
the greats. But yeah, like I mean, just him. Like you could see like everybody breaking. You could see like Christina Applegate, who was in it, was kind of like hiding her face.
They're all covering up. They're trying to
as
hide
like
their faces.
And just I mean, he was just like a whirlwind, just like picking up David Spade and just falling over tables and breaking them. I'm like, my God.
And again, like he had that grace that you would not expect of somebody his size.
Exactly.
He was like, I don't know, probably around 300 pounds, something like that.
It was like he was bigger than Belushi, but he moved as well as Belushi.
Yeah, Belushi was like his idol, from what I understand.
Yeah, very much so.
He would like sometimes he would find pants in wardrobe that were Belushi's pants, and he would wear those whenever he could.
Yeah, very much so.
Belushi was like his idol.
Yeah, but then sometimes he took it down a little bit, like when he did the Chris Farley talk show. Where
I was going to bring that up.
Like, remember
that is probably my favorite thing that he ever did was where he just did the awkward interviews And I think the iconic one for that is him and Paul McCartney.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Where he's like, so like in the 60s, people were saying you were dead. That was a hoax, right? And Paul McCartney's just like, yeah, I wasn't really dead.
Okay.
And then,
I mean, I think what made it so funny is that like so many people could see themselves being that guy. Like if you're around a big star, big celebrity, you just get like tongue tied and sweaty. You don't know what to say, and
I'm sure even the SNL people went through that.
Yeah,
I mean, because even in a job like that where you're meeting celebrities on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
I mean, still, you don't meet a Beatle every day.
Yeah, that's a big old deal.
I don't see how meeting Paul McCartney is not a big deal, even if you're famous yourself.
Exactly. I mean, when you're going to see all these stars, you're going to get a little starstruck.
Yeah,
you're going to be.
And that's one of the all-time great sketches, I think.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That's a wonderful sketch.
Absolutely. So yeah, I would Chris Farley, but
Chris Farley.
Chris Farley is in my honorable mentions. Anybody else you got?
The only other person I put in my honorable mentions was Dan Aykroyd.
Ooh,
who
Aykroyd.
Again, original cast member, an amazing utility player. Okay. I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Bassmaster.
Fred Garvin, male prostitute.
That's terrific.
Now I have an elaborate series of trusses, and his Tom Snyder. Oh my God, his Tom Snyder.
I feel like Aykroyd kind of gets like kind of not forgotten, but people kind of forget that he did like a bunch of great, like one of his favorite, the toy salesman.
Oh yeah, the toy safety.
He had like the Chicago accent,
right? The bag of glass.
Yeah, it's a bag of glass. Why? Kids love it. It's fun. It's a fun toy.
Yeah.
I mean that character I liked a lot.
Yes. And also one half of the Blues Brothers.
One half of the Blues moves just as well as Belushi.
That when they did Soul Man on SNL, and just that clip where the two of them are dancing at the beginning, just watching them move, I'm still just amazed.
Yeah.
It's
always amazing it's always amazing when you see like a cast member or just anybody who has like another talent that you weren't aware of. Like on the last episode we talked about Chris Redd when he was like, dancing and moving, doing all wiggle wobble with his legs. And it's like, oh, whoa, look, what's he doing? Like, like when you see when you see like when Conan O'Brien did his show and he like was playing guitar when he was doing samples, like, oh, Conan plays guitar. Like, when you see them doing another skill, like you're like, whoa, you don't just make the funny, you do the dancing and the musics too.
Yeah.
It's always like, all right. But yeah, Aykroyd. Yeah, I mean, Aykroyd was good stuff. Good stuff. And I think do I have one more? I have a few more.
Bring us on home, Darin. Come on.
I'll say Tina Fey.
Tina Fey.
Yeah. I mean her like her stuff behind the desk I thought was hilarious. Her characters were funny and amazing.
And her writing.
Her writing is just sharp as a knife. I mean, oh my God. Even like, or the times where she was on Weekend Update and she just kind of was like, had like a monologue about stuff. I always thought they were like really funny. And
I remember like after 9/11, they were talking about the new alert system or something. And she just at one point just went, bitch, I can't get any more alert than I already am. I love Tina Fey.
Tina Fey is awesome. So
she's just amazing.
And that's all right. That's what I got.
All right. So those are our picks.
That's right.
Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let us know.
Yeah. If you got problems, just you know where to find us.
Come at us on Twitter. I'm on there. I'm a Trumbull comic on Twitter.
I'm Darin Credible on Twitter. DARIN Credible.
So let us know if you agree, if you disagree. Yeah. If you think we're idiots,
scream at us angrily. Just
use the hashtag SNL Nerds.
Yes, please, and, SNL Nerds. Please
let's get that trending.
Yeah, come on, man.
I mean, it's
yeah.
So
let's get this party started. Let's get this party started.
So,
right?
But but this has been fun. So I think we're gonna wind it up here. But we're gonna be back next week. We're gonna be talking all about our favorite all-time sketches. So we may have given you hints of a few of the ones that we picked already.
We probably dropped a few gems.
You can make some educated guesses.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that, and we will see you around. We're gonna. I think I hear the music.
Yes.
Up.
Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah. Music to my ears.
So we're gonna wind it up. But thank you for listening. This has been the SNL Nerds. I'm I'm John Trumbull.
You're John Trumbull.
Yeah.
I'm Darin Patterson.
All right, and we'll see you next week.
Later.
Bye. One little thing that we forgot, we have a show coming up that we need to plug.
We do.
So if you're in the northern New Jersey area, we've got a show coming up on Sunday, October the 28th at Tierney's Tavern in Montclair.
Yeah.
We're going to be co-hosting, and several of our friends are performing. We got Natty Bumper Car, we got Alex Cedric, we got Doug Max, we got Omar Orbison, got Aaron Comer-Wahlberg, and our headliners, McDonald and Carney. They play all around the place. They're very funny guys. They're great improvisers. You might know them from the Dumb Fellas podcast.
Of course.
They're friends of the show.
Yeah.
And Darin and I are going to be hosting and bringing the funny.
Yes, there'll be comedy.
Comedy and
I was going to say costume contest, and it came out just as comedy.
And the costume contest as well.
And giveaways and candy and comedy.
And free stuff, yes. So please come out and support if you're anywhere near Montclair, New Jersey. This will be Sunday, October 28th at 7:30.
Yes. Seating at 7.
Seating at 7. Call for reservations. You call 973-396-6952, or you email 414, that's spelled out, at Comcast.net. 414 at Comcast.net to make a reservation.
Right. So it's at Tierney's Tavern, 136 Valley Road in beautiful Montclair, New Jersey.
Yes, and we will be co-hosting. If we've done anything that's entertained you on this show the last 4 weeks, please come out and say hi.
Yeah, exactly. We'll take pictures. We'll sign faces. We'll do it all.
We'll sign body parts. Within reason.
Within reason. I have a wife.
Within reason. Yes. So I hope to see you there. So thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Howdy, folks. This is Frank from Non-Productive.com, interrupting your podcast feed for this urgent message. We're putting on our first Kickstarter, and we need your help to reach our goal and beyond. Non-Pro is planning a movie night, a movie marathon where we're streaming some of the worst flicks of all time, and we're raising money to cover operating expenses for the year. Every dollar you donate gets us closer to some truly, truly terrible films, and we're going to stream the entire experiment for you, our loyal fans and supporters. Oh, and hey, we're also donating some cash to the ACLU, because protecting our right to speak out is sort of important, don't you think? And if you support our Kickstarter, there are some awesome rewards in it for you, including watching some ridiculously amazing films with us in studio. To donate, please head over to non-productive.com/movie night and show us your support. Thanks.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.